All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Deontay Wilder's trainer, Malik Scott, and his opinion on Tyson Fury, and him saying that he would not be surprised if Tyson Fury pulled out of the fight again. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back, welcome back. So before I get into the subject matter of the video, please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Also like the video, share the video. It does a lot to grow the channel, and it would be greatly appreciated. So Deontay Wilder's trainer says that he would not be surprised if Tyson Fury pulled out of the fight again. And I have to say that, number one, I agree. I would not be surprised at all either. And also, the reason that I wouldn't be surprised is because Tyson Fury has a mindset probably right now that he can get away with anything. So why specifically does Malik Scott say that he would not be surprised? Well, the main fact is that he said that this is the third training camp that they've had for the same fight. Again, they're in their right now in their third training camp for Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3, and that Tyson Fury at one point in time said that he would never share the ring with Deontay Wilder again, and it seems like he's trying to keep that promise. Now, for me, I have a different reason to not trust it, and that is because I believe Tyson Fury is just an untrustworthy person, period. Whether it be, rumors that he's, back on cocaine, or that he has mental health issues, or both, because honestly, you can have both. You can have mental illness and use cocaine as a way to help cope with whatever stresses you have in your mind. And having mental illness doesn't make anybody a bad person. Definitely not making fun of him for that. But I'm just saying that those type of things can make you behave erratically. And so Tyson Fury, I think it's fair to say, is somebody that behaves erratically. I have a hard time with that word. He acts one way, then another way, then one way, then another way. He says one thing, then does something else, then says something else, and then does something else. That time, he's an erratic person. You just cannot put your finger on exactly what he's doing and where his mindset is, because he's willing to say anything to anybody at any point in time and do anything, it seems, at any point in time. However, when you have now been in your third training camp. Now, I don't know if Tyson Fury has been in his third training camp, because it seems to me that this might be his second training camp, but third training camp, excuse me, and the first training camp was leading up to the first fight that they were supposed to have, obviously, the one that Tyson Fury pulled out of, saying that the contract expired and he wasn't going to be fighting Deontay Wilder. That was behind him. So he pulls out on that one. They have to go into court and go through this big, long, extended battle in court, and to be held. So just to say, for the court to say, no, you have to fight Deontay Wilder. And then Tyson Fury comes out in the second time, and then he pulls, he catches COVID. He catches, and I'm doing this with these air quotes, catches COVID, because I don't believe it. The dates don't make any sense. If I recall the dates correctly, it was he tested positive for COVID-19 supposedly on the 9th of July. On the 14th of July, he's seen taking pictures, shaking hands with people out in a casino. That last time I checked, that is the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. That's 5 days. But then Tyson Fury says that he had been in quarantine 2 to 3 days longer than the doctors had told him to. So 2 to 3 days before, let's just say 2, that makes 3 days. When have you heard that somebody testing positive for COVID-19 and having the doctor say, okay, before we can do the second test, you need to quarantine for 3 days. It's 10 days at the minimum, with most people saying it needs to be 15 days. So if it was 15, if he had done what he said he did, which is 2 to 3 days longer than what the doctor ordered him, then he should have been out like on the 28th or the 29th, not on the 14th, and saying that he cleared 2 days before. So that's just a lie. Honestly, man, I can't say that any other way than that is a lie. Point blank lie that he gets caught in. And see, but that's the reason he pulled out of the fight. If he didn't, and then at the end of it, he says he gets retested and now he's negative. He doesn't have COVID anymore. So seeing as that story about the COVID sounds like nonsense, and he winds up testing negative, right? 5 days. Noted, he tested positive. He tests positive. Then 5 days later, or less than 5 days later, he tests negative. Come on, man. That just tells you he didn't have it to begin with, and it was just some make-believe nonsense to justify him pulling out of the fight. And what would the reasons be that he was trying to pull out of the fight? Malik Scott said it, that he had heard it from good, reliable sources, that he was getting touched up in sparring. He said that he heard that was it Jared Anderson had him out on his feet. He said there was another sparring partner that was there that dropped him. So Tyson Fury was just not doing well in training camp. There's also rumors coming out of the UK, and I'm going to say they're just rumors, that there's concern from his camp that Tyson Fury was back using cocaine again. So they stopped. And so if he's using cocaine in training camp, then he may test positive for that, and the fight would be up. But and that's just, I'm saying, as it relates to the fight. And then if you listen to Frank Warren was talking about in the fight when he's talking about the fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, he said, now this may be me looking into nitpicking a little bit, but I don't think so. I listened to Frank Warren enough, and Frank Warren is somebody that is he's kind of a direct guy. And I'm not saying that he's innocent, that he's above lying or anything like that, but I'm saying the way that he answered a certain question made me feel like he had concerns about Tyson Fury, because he was asked, who does he think he's going to win? And then he said, well, if Tyson Fury is right, and everything's is right with him, then he should beat Deontay Wilder. So the fact that he entered into the if everything is right tells me that they're worried a little bit about his behavior. And I think, honestly, so with similar to what Malik Scott said, I would not be surprised if he pulled out of this fight again. Not saying that it is, I'm leaning towards him not pulling out of the fight, but because you would say, God, who could do that many times? Well, Tyson Fury can do it that many times, because he's not going to get any pushback in the media for sure. If he decided that he stubbed his toe or sprained his ankle and he wanted to push the fight again, that they would do that because, hey, and then in the press they'd be like, Tyson Fury just stubbed his toe. The fight is off for 3 months, because that is about as much critical coverage as you will find on Tyson Fury anywhere on the internet from mainstream media sources, especially now since he's with Top Rank. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.